Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. For the record, it's October 6th, 2022, and the time is 6:30. Council, when I call your name, please say here or present. Mayor Maxton.
Here.
Councilmember Stroop.
Here.
Elizondo.
Here.
Bliss.
Here.
Kerner.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
And Menchow.
Present.
With 7 members of council present, a quorum is declared.
Thank you, Christina. And would everybody please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We didn't have anybody sign up for citizens to be heard tonight. Is there anybody here that didn't get an opportunity to sign up that would like to speak? Okay. And we'll move on to presentations, but we have one presentation tonight. Lieutenant John Ojeda was going to receive his 15-year award, but Lieutenant Ojeda couldn't make it tonight, so we're going to postpone this to a future meeting where we can get him to attend and present it to him personally. And so with that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have several items on the consent agenda tonight. First is the approval of the September 15th, 2022 regular city council meeting minutes. Second is the approval of the September 22nd, 2022 special city council meeting minutes. Third is the approval of a resolution amending the authorized representative tax pool, the city's investment pool. Fourth is the approval of the resolution amending the rules of procedure of the Fair Oaks Ranch Capital Improvements Advisory Committee. Fifth is the approval of a resolution authorizing the use of court technology funds for the purchase of audio and video equipment for the municipal court to support live streaming. And last is the approval of Councilmember Bliss's absence on September 15, 2022 from the regular city council meeting. Is there any council member that would like to remove any of these items from consent to consideration and discussion?
Mayor, I would like to. Item number 8, which is the rules and procedures of the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee.
All right. Anybody else? Then minus item number 8, could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
From Chesley, and a second.
Second.
From Emily. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is approved. So next we'll move on to consideration discussion items. Up is the approval of a resolution amending the rules of procedure of the Fair Oaks Ranch Capital Improvements Advisory Committee. I'll turn it over to Laura. I think you had a question.
I did. So I was reading the resolution and the exhibit. And there was one part in here I didn't think that we're doing, and I was wondering why we didn't revise it. Under the Section 2 committee roles, it says the council member, who is, I believe, Emily, that's with the CIAC, is the person who's supposed to provide the updates to city council. And even on today's agenda, she's not providing today's agenda item update, and I know our chair always has. So curious why we didn't make that update during this revision, or do we want her to be giving the updates going forward? Emily?
What would you like?
Paul, would you like to address it? I don't mind.
I don't mind doing it. Whether you'd rather have a council person do it or one of the citizens, I'm not sure it makes a lot of difference.
I don't think we've ever had a council member give the update. I'd rather have it just say what we have been doing, which is having the chair do that.
Yeah, I just wanted, so my expectation around this has always been, I think we always have, I agree with Laura, that we've received the reports and updates on progress. from the chair, but the expectation's always been that if there's an issue that needs to be brought before, council related to, and just throwing an example out there, like the scope of the committee or something like that, that I would expect that to be sponsored by the liaison, the assigned council representative. And I don't know that that has to be explicitly spelled out here, but that's kind of how I took that language in the procedures.
Yeah, I mean, it was very explicitly, in my opinion, right. It says, the chair signs the minutes and the reports, the council member provides the meeting update to city council.
Yeah,
So I would
don't-
rather it just be corrected.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, yeah.
Yeah. So my question, Mayor, is can we, I mean, this is, I guess, is this a recommendation from the advisory committee to us on what they want the rules to be? We could adjust it because we approve them, correct? So can I make this revision without having to go back and do a whole bunch of other things? Yes, okay, thank you.
Since we're the final approval.
I was going to look to Dan, but Chief is there, okay.
So is the suggestion just to stripe that last sentence under the council member's responsibilities?
No, I would move that to the chairman's responsibilities. Move that last sentence under the council member's responsibilities, provides meeting update to city council, and just move it up to the responsibilities of the chairman.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Well, we don't have a motion on the table now, so I'm just verbally changing we're about to do a motion for. So I could make a motion if you like.
I make a motion that you make a motion.
You move that I make a motion? I second that. Let me get the actual wording that I'm supposed to say here, Greg, so I get this right. I move to approve the resolution amending the rules and procedures of the Fair Oaks Ranch Capital Improvements Advisory Committee with one revision of moving the sentence, provides meeting update to city council to the responsibilities of the chairman instead of the council member.
Second.
Right. From Laura and Roy. Any other questions or discussions from council? From anybody else here tonight? All in favor of approval of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Thanks, Laura.
Now we can officially hear from Paul.
Yeah, we'll move on to reports from staff and committees. And tonight, our Capital Improvements Advisory Committee semi-annual report, Paul Mabin, our chairman for the committee.
Yes, so I'm Paul Mabin. I think I know everybody here. So the purpose of the Capital Improvements Committee is to advise the city on the need for, or any changes need to land use assumptions, capital improvement plan, or impact fees. And we're looking more toward impact fees when people generally talk to us. Basically, there's been no significant change to this date on any of those, so we see no reason for changing anything at this time. Now, it will come before you probably in 2025, every 5 years. So it was last time it was before the council was 2020. Having said that, there are a couple of things. One of them is the Garber wastewater treatment plant study, which is due out, I believe, shortly. And so we're going to be looking at that, and I would expect that may have some changes to the wastewater infrastructure. And those probably ought to be taken into account in the next master plan. And we expect that to happen sort of in the FY 23-24 timeframe. The other one, I think, is you're all aware, costs are rising, supplies are getting short, and housing sales are slowing down. So I would expect in the land use, you would see the growth in housing to be slowing down. We don't know the extent or the duration of it. It's anybody's guess what's going to happen there. But when we do have the next master plan, that would be something to take into account, is just how far along that is going to really slow things down. And that's it. Any questions?
Anybody questions for Paul? Yeah, Roy?
Yeah.
He always takes care of me. You mentioned rising costs and things like that, and I know like our next update on impact fees is 2025, I think,
Right.
in your report. And so has the committee been talking about that, about the adequacy of our current recovery rate?
We actually asked Freeze Nichols, Grant Watanabe asked Freeze Nichols about what they're looking at for the rising cost for inflation. They were quoting 8%, which is the CPI. And so I don't think that's going to have a lot of effect when it comes up. It'll be interesting to see how the infrastructure changes. Is there going to be less of it, particularly due to the water treatment plant's sake?
Yeah, I just always am curious because sometimes the commodities that go into that kind of construction can actually rise at a higher rate. And then there's other associated things like transportation and stuff with getting those materials to a site. So just curious about whether our current recovery rates are kind of holding their own.
They seem to be holding their own, yes, sir. Now, it'll be interesting to see if in the wastewater treatment plant study is what effect, we start looking at the costs of those and what was in there versus what was expected.
Thank you, Paul. And appreciate you being here tonight. With that, we'll move on to requested announcements. And I'll kick it off. I had a couple of announcements. The first is the upgrade project for water plant number 2 is complete. And the city will host a ribbon cutting ceremony for the opening of the water plant. This ceremony will occur on October 19th, 2022 at 11 o'clock at the address of water plant number 2, which is 28129 Royal Ascot Drive. And I believe we sent invitations to all the residents that live on Pintado also, so they'll be invited to attend. But all residents in Fair Oaks Ranch are invited to attend and join us as we do it'll be all of council that's available to do the ribbon cutting as we open water plant number 2. Second issue that I wanted to talk about was our water levels. We're still in stage 2 of our drought contingency plan. And we did have a period of time back in August where we did receive a couple rain showers, and our water levels in our monitoring wells were holding and maybe even rose a little bit. But over the last 2 weeks, those water levels are starting to decline. And so it's a reminder to everybody that we still are in stage 2 of our drought contingency plan, and please abide by the rules. And one of the biggest violators that we have is irrigation systems that use a lot of water. And what we don't want to do is here at the end of the year as temperatures start to cool off, because we drop our water levels, that we have to go into stage 3. So please abide by the rules now so that we can maintain. And then the last message that I had tonight is we talked about our new emergency message system, which is Regroup. Regroup is now our primary. Our old system contract ran out at the end of September. And so the only message system for emergencies that we have now is Regroup. We have had about 700 people sign up for this new system, but would like to continue to get this out to others, to get everyone in the city to sign up for it. It's our way of, when we have emergencies in the city, that we can reach out to residents and through text messages or emails get information out to them quickly. So for those that have signed up, I ask your help in telling other residents to get the message out so that we can get everybody signed up. And I know everybody from the city and the city council is pushing it also. And that's all I had. Any other messages from anybody on council?
May I ask a question on the regroup?
Sure.
Are we looking at a potential test of this pretty quick? Because I know some people had problems on the swap over.
There is a test date that's set up. I don't know, have we set the exact date? It's like within the next 2 weeks, I believe. I just don't think we've set the exact
Okay.
date of when we're going to do it. But there is a test date.
Maybe we can get that word out to expect it, not to get nervous.
Nope, good information. Thanks, Scott. Anybody else?
Blinking red there.
Good.
So how many did we have in the old system? How many have we converted over? Like, how many have we not converted?
Well, they told me
What's-
that we had about 1,500 signed up on Code Red, which
Okay.
was our old system.
That's not too bad.
But Code Red was established, and we had people signed up on it for multiple years. Some of those had left,
Right.
not canceled out their accounts. So we don't have a balance of where we're at.
Gotcha.
I would guess that we're probably a little shy of where we were as part of Code Red. But taking Code Red out of the picture, really, we have over 10,000 residents. Some of those are children. If you look at it, we probably 8,000 residents that are adults that we really need to push to get people to sign up so that we have a good capability. Now, I was swagging the number on adults, so please don't hold me to the number. But point being is that there are a lot more adults out there that we need to get signed up for the system so that we can use this effectively. Yes, ma'am. I don't have the total number, 3,500, 4,000.
Sounds about right. I don't have the number off the top of my head. We do have that from our appraisal district information. I just can't remember.
Close? Okay. We can get the number for you, though. All right. Any other? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to give a shout out to our police and fire, you, city manager, everybody who did the National Night Out. We had a lot of fun. So, good
And we had a
job.
great turnout from the different neighborhoods that we attended. Tobin, anything else?
I was just going to echo what Councilmember Stroop said. I wanted to congratulate the police department on another wonderful national night out. Council members who participated. We also had the fire department make rounds with us this year, which always steals the thunder when those shiny red trucks drive up. But regarding the regroup, the police department pushed out flyers at all of these, and so we're going to do a test, but we want to see how many people sign up first from the National Night Out push. But then we're going to continue doing a push all year long.
Are there any council members that have any areas that they want added to a future? Oh, yes, Roy.
Yeah, been getting questions, so I would appreciate at an upcoming meeting, we talk about the status of standing up 3351 subcommittee again to try, I think we talked about the purpose of that, to be in contact with TxDOT about what's going on with that project.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, I'm not tracking any requirements to go into executive session tonight. Christina, is there anything else that we needed for this evening?
No, sir.
Tobin, anything I missed? All right. And I have the time now is 6:49 and we are adjourned.
Get home for the last 10 minutes of Wheel of Fortune.